Hello and welcome to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. It is October 15th, 2024. This is episode 293. Actor, improviser, and dreamer, and stand-up comedian. Paul Green coming to you. And I'll tell you what, I'm a little bit more actor today than I have been in a while, because I am currently in Des Moines, Iowa, as part of a film production, the details of which I cannot reveal too much of. That's not true. I can reveal probably a lot about it. But I'm not going to go into too much detail. But the short version is, my comedy partner, Josh Novi, wrote a movie. How about that? The movie is actually not a comedy. It's actually, it's like a kind of a faith-based film. And based off of a true story. The story is actually really compelling and heartwarming. It's about this woman who's been part of addiction recovery for like 40 years or something ridiculous. And she hosts like a recovery meeting out of her garage in Iowa. And she has been instrumental in helping hundreds, if not thousands of people transform their lives and overcome addiction and become sober. And my buddy Josh has really spearheaded this whole production. It's been pretty impressive what he's been able to pull off, and they've been filming for the last couple of weeks here in Iowa, and he got me a small little role in the film, which was really awesome. And so I flew out today, yesterday rather, to be in the film. And it was okay. I gotta be honest, it was a miserable day. And I hate being negative because, you know, I try to be a pretty positive person. And but it was well, let's just put it this way. I got to set at about 1 p.m., which is when I was called to set. I am in one scene, and I had one line. I didn't even get to the part where they were filming my scene until 10:30. So I got there at 1, and I sat around for 10 hours. Just bored out of my mind. And had I known that that was going to be how it was going to go, I would have done the day very, very differently. But, you know, that's Hollywood for you, kids. Which is one of the things that I have learned about acting on film and television. When I lived in LA, I did, probably 2 or 3 dozen student films and indie projects, and I did some background work for some more major productions. I did a bunch of commercials, and it really is fascinating how much time as an actor you spend just sitting there and waiting. I mean, it is unbelievable the number of hours. And you know, I don't know why it would seem that the film industry, because that just seems to be the standard. Like, that has never not been the case. I have never, like, showed up to a film set and they were ready for me as an actor. And I'm like, how do these tight-knit film production crews where time is money, how do they not know how to schedule an actor to like show up within a close proximity of the time that they actually need to act? Now, I'm not talking now, in some cases, you got to show up because you got to get your wardrobe on, you got to get your makeup on. But I'm talking like including all of that. I cannot tell you how many times I showed up. It's like, oh, yeah, you got to show up at 6 a.m. for makeup and wardrobe and then, whatever. So I show up at 6 a.m. I get a little dab of makeup. They throw me in whatever wardrobe it is. And then I sit around for 5 hours. Pretty interesting. I don't know why it works that way. I mean, I get why it takes so much time to set up a shot. I mean, gosh, just the sheer volume of equipment and personnel and lighting and cameras and audio and set design. I mean, you would not believe, if you haven't ever been in a situation where you're seeing an actual, like, bona fide TV or movie production, but it is just absolutely astounding how much goes into just filming a little scene. And, but it seems that, like, well, production crews, that. You're going to need to set up this scene for 5 hours and set up all of the lighting and all of the stands and, get all of the set designed and get all of the set pieces and the furniture and the windows. And I mean, there's just so much stuff. It's like every little detail. So it's like, well, why not just tell the actors to show up like 5 hours later? Like, I got there at 1, but my call time was literally 2:30, and I didn't even see the set until 10:30. Like, how did nobody in the production not know that my character was not going to actually be needed until 10 hours after they told me? Because had they just said, oh, yeah, you're going to be filming at night, then I could have just stayed on my Airbnb. There's so many other things I could have done. So, aside from that little complaint, that little woe is to me, I'm not using the word I actually want to use because it's a swear word. That little bee fest that I just gave. When it was finally time for my scene and I got to deliver my line, I'm not going to lie, I had so much fun. I just love acting. I love being in that situation. And, obviously I got to do my scene maybe 3, maybe 4 times. And each time, I try to give it something a little different. I try to find a new truth in it. It was just one line, but I really tried to find like a couple of different ways to deliver it, to find different beats, to emphasize different words. I'm not gonna lie, everybody. I love acting. I love comedy. I love performing. Because to me, all it really is, it's just a performance. I don't know why that would be shocking. Did I say something revelatory there? Sure, I mean, it's like acting in front of film, but again, to me, it's just really putting on a performance. It's just you're putting on a performance for an audience that you don't see immediately and that you don't even know who your audience is. But when you are filming, you're performing for your other actors, you're performing for the crew, you're performing for the people behind the camera. And there is a feeling that I love more than just about any other feeling as a performer. And it's this unique experience, but it's when I'm doing a comedic scene and I'm in character and I do something that is so funny and I know it's so funny. But because it's filmed, everybody has to stay silent, right? Like the people behind the camera can't laugh, the camera crew can't laugh, the producers and the directors can't laugh, and the other actors can't laugh, right? So this hasn't happened a ton, but it's happened a few times in my acting career. Well, I will find some sort of beat or find some sort of way to deliver a certain line, and I deliver the line or do whatever, and it's so funny, but everybody has to stay quiet until the director yells cut. And then as soon as the director yells cut, everybody just starts cracking up. It is one of my favorite sensations and experiences, again, as a comedic actor. When I can have those moments, when I can just find something that's so funny in that moment, and I just know it, and everybody else knows it, but everybody is just holding in their laughter until they can just let it out. It's kind of like this laughter grenade. You know, you just, like I throw the grenade, doot, 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 pins out. Everybody knows that thing's about to blow, but it can't explode until the director yells cut, and then. So I am hopeful in terms of pursuing my dreams that I will get to have some more of those experiences, and preferably not to be overly ungrateful or dismissive of this project, but because this was a great project, but I would love to have that on a more nationally released, TV show or movie that I'm in, where I have good amount of exposure in the project, but during the filming, I get to have that experience of making people laugh, and everybody has to hold it in. So that was the experience tonight. And so I will be flying back to Arizona tomorrow. And I just get one night of rest. And then I have a busy performance schedule coming up. I'm going to be pretty much performing 3 nights in a row at JP's Comedy Club in Gilbert with 5 different shows. Thursday is going to be my improv show, and then 2 stand-up shows Friday, 2 stand-up shows Saturday. And I am so looking forward to those shows. I cannot even begin to tell you how excited I am to be doing improv again. It's just so exciting. I love doing improv, and I get to do improv with a team of actors and improvisers that I put together. And these are people who I love and who I know are going to have so much fun. That show's going to be great. And then again, Friday and Saturday doing stand-up. Really excited to just get back on stage and continue to hone my stand-up comedy craft. So things are good. Things are moving along. So with that, let's now shift gears to my commentary on the book that I'm reading called The Magic Mindset. And today's chapter is the magic mindset when it comes to, what's the word they use? It has to do with things that are out of your control. Oh man, and this is a tough one for me. It's been tough for me throughout my life to just recognize that there are so many elements of life that are just beyond my control. You can't change the weather. You can't, make other people think or feel differently than what they think or feel. You can't, control who likes you. You can't control who is going to come into your life. You can't control certain outcomes. And learning to detach emotions from the elements of life that are out of one's control, and to turn all of that focus and energy only to the elements of life that are within my complete control, I think is probably one of the most significant and important distinctions that one can make. And not easy. Definitely hasn't been easy for me. But, I talk a lot about being a dreamer. And, I was probably fairly delusional for a lot of my how do I word it? Fairly delusional when I initially started really focusing on going for my dreams. And, I did really get into a lot of kind of like the secret type self-help industry, which, to me is a little too, man, I hope I'm not coming across cynical, but I just think it's a little delusional to be like, all I have to do is think about something and then it's going to manifest. It's like, well, no, that's not the case. Now the secret says, well, there's a delay effect. Well, yeah, but that delay effect is the difference between, wishful thinking and actually manifesting your own destiny through work, through effort. And granted, there is only so much work and effort that any one person can put into pursuing a dream. But one of the great challenges for me has been, no matter what effort I put in, the outcome is actually out of my control. And learning to attach my emotions to the input, to what I am putting into it. Sure, like, out of the blue, I could have gotten some sort of big break. Some casting director could have found me and put me as a lead in a major motion picture when I had only been out in Hollywood for a couple of months and I hadn't really put a lot of work into acting or building a career. Sure, that totally could have happened. But what I find is more fulfilling is when, regardless of how it turns out, I show up for my dreams. I show up for my goals. I show up and I pull up my notebook and write, not because there's an outcome attached to it, but because writing is just part of what I do as a comedian. And when I have an audition, I show up for the audition and I prepare and I do the best I can. Or when I have one line in a movie out in Iowa that I have to wait 10 hours on set to deliver, when it was my turn to deliver, I delivered the heck out of that line. And I put everything I could into it because that's what I have control over. Now, I don't know what's going to happen to this movie. I don't know how successful it's going to be. And quite frankly, even if the movie is like a huge success, relatively nobody is going to pay any attention to my one scene. Who knows? My scene could end up getting cut before it even makes it to the final, version of it that gets released. So all of that is out of my control. or with what I'm trying to do with my 2-person show with Josh Novi, which is try to sell tickets. It's like, I have to totally detach from the emotions of selling or not selling tickets, because that actually is out of my control. What is in my control is how much effort do I put into the advertising and the marketing and coming up with ad creatives, and what effort do I put in adjusting, updating ads, looking at the numbers, studying the data, all of that stuff. That's what I do have control over. And that is what I am trying to attach my emotions to, is my input, not necessarily the output of which I have no control over. So that is my journey as I really think about having a mindset in regards to detaching from the emotions of outcome. Not gonna lie, it is not easy for me. That is also a very tough mindset that I have been trying to adapt over the years. I mean, I'm a heck of a lot better than I was when I was younger, and hopefully I'll only get better, but I am very much convinced that the only way to true fulfillment, to true happiness, and pursuing any sort of dream is, again, detaching from the emotions of outcome and attaching those to the emotions of what effort I put into it. And that is what I'm trying to do. All right, everybody. So that is all for today. This is episode 293 for October 15th, 2024, the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. I hope all your dreams are coming true. You're out there finding fulfillment and incredible experiences, and that you are learning to detach from the emotions of outcome and focus on what you can control and what you can put into whatever it is that you're pursuing. All right, everybody, I love you all so much, and I will talk to you tomorrow.